Thank you so much, Lisa, for putting this conference together and for the opportunity to speak. I'm so excited to be here. Ladies, I have a question for you. What would your life be like if you had superpowers? If you had an endless well of energy and determination that you could tap into for your career and for your children? I'm going to share some stories with you, some personal experiences that I've had that will illustrate that you already have this superpower that I'm describing. You already have access. And if you're a mom, then I'm going to show you that you've probably already tapped into this well, what I call a motherhood well. My story that I'm going to share with you begins when I was about 10 years old. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley. I'm the child of immigrant Mexican parents, and we didn't live in the nicest place. We lived in a one-bedroom apartment, and there were 3 siblings and my parents. And I was about 10, 11 years old when I was exhausted from a long day, and I was trying to go to sleep. And you know, when you're like laying down and you just kind of feel something on your face, and usually it's a strand of hair or, something like that. And well, I brushed it off a couple times and still kind of felt little sensation on my cheek. And unbeknownst to me, and to my horror, it turned out it was not a strand of hair that was keeping me awake. It was a cockroach. And before I knew it, it had made its way into my ear. What were you like when you were 10, 11 years old? What would you have done in a situation like that? I did the natural thing. I sprung out of bed. I was terrified. I was screaming. I was making noise. I was asking for help. And I ran to the bathroom. We had just one bathroom. I ran to the bathroom. And I put my head underneath the faucet to try to wash it out because that was all that I could think of to do. And as I'm letting just the water pressure just kind of fill my ear, I'm like praying. All I could think about was that roach. I could just feel it in there. And I could think about just get it out. And it got out. And I took a breath. And I was so relieved that it got out. And my mother was woken up by my screaming because it was a one-bedroom apartment. There wasn't a lot of space. And she got up and she came toward me. And this was when I started to learn that lesson about the bottomless well that I call the maternal well. My mother walked over to me, but it wasn't what you're thinking. She didn't walk over to help me. She walked over to me to beat me because she was schizophrenic. She is schizophrenic. And my noise, my freaking out tantrum, whatever you want to call it, woke her up, and she thought that I was some sort of enemy, some sort of threat, and she hurt me. She reacted in that moment. And that was the beginning of my lesson. If you're listening to this story, you're probably a little bit confused. Well, how did my mom's treatment of me begin to teach me about that maternal well? Well, if you know anything about mental illness and if you know anything about schizophrenia, you'll know that it's one of the most difficult diseases to overcome when it comes to mental illnesses. It's one of the most difficult diseases to control. If you have this disease, it just takes over your mind, it takes over your body, it takes over your relationships, it takes over everything. And if you're a mom, it takes over your ability to be a mother, the mother that you want to be. But my mother is a walking miracle because from that moment to about, fast forward 10 years later, it took her that long, she beat that disease. And during this time, I was starting to grasp, as I was watching her go through this, I was starting to grasp the endlessness of that maternal well as I saw my mother heal from this disease. She went from being that woman to being a doting grandmother to my 5 children. Yes, you heard that right, 5 children. And at the beginning of my journey with her and of learning this lesson about motherhood and my own maternal well, which I'll get to in a second, I didn't think that I wanted to have children, or I didn't think I could have children, because I thought, I want a career. I want to get out of this poverty. I want to get out of this mess. And I don't want to be a mother. I want to have a career. And I thought that the two were incompatible because I was just beginning to learn about the maternal well. If you're listening to this talk and you saw the title, I'm getting to that point right now. If you can birth a baby, you can birth a career. And I'm about to connect the dots for you. I learned through my experience in watching my mother how her love for me and my siblings and for her grandchildren gave her the courage, the determination, the energy, and that superhuman strength that she needed to overcome such a horrible disease. It wasn't that she had it and I had it, or that other mothers don't have it. No, it was that she just tapped into it because we all have it. And I learned that I had it. When I saw my mother heal from this disease, I was able to heal from my childhood trauma of not wanting to have children for fear that I just couldn't handle it. I learned that if my mom could dig her way out of such a horrible disease and be such an amazing mother that I saw her just transform into, then I could have children. But there was a catch, ladies. I had built a career that was incompatible with motherhood. I was traveling, I was successful, I had these amazing opportunities. Once I overcame the situation with my mom, I wrote an essay about it and I got a scholarship and I ended up going to UC Berkeley. A family paid for my education. I had all these amazing career breakthroughs. I mean, I'm talking like I got to meet Maya Angelou. I got to have dinner with Rosa Parks. Like I had these amazing opportunities because I was killing it when it came to my career, my education. I was motivated and I built this thing, this amazing thing, through my determination that I tapped into as a result of witnessing how my mother tapped into this thing inside her that I was just starting to uncover what it was and what it could do. Well, I had children and it destroyed my career, really, because I had a job where I was required to travel and it just was not compatible with my desire to be a mom that I was now embracing after seeing my mom just do this amazing thing. And this is over the course of 10 years. Okay. We're healing together. And at first, like most moms, I thought, all right, well, I can either be a great mom or I can be a great career woman, but I can't do both. Like most moms, I experience burnout. Like most moms, I experience mommy guilt. How many of you moms that are listening to this have ever had the thought in your mind, my child is not getting what they need from me because I'm committed to my job? My job is not getting the 110% that I need to give it because I'm home with my children when they're sick, or I'm building these relations. How many, like we've all had those thoughts. But what I learned after that first iteration or that first rebirth of myself as a mom was that it wasn't that I couldn't have both. It was that I had to think outside the box and tap into that maternal well to find a way to build a path. If you've ever given birth, whether it's natural, cesarean, I don't care. You know what I'm talking about. You're at that moment where you're exhausted. You just need a minute. You can't go anymore. But that love, that anticipation for that baby that you're about to hold in your arms somehow drags you across the finish line. That's the maternal well. And you can tap into it for your career too, because that's what I did. After I had 2 children, I was on the road to have a third. I found out I was pregnant on a Monday. I got laid off on a Thursday. I was the primary breadwinner in my home. I had built this thing, guys. I mean, come on. I came from being the little girl with a roach in her ear to making $100,000 a year in my 20s. I was living the dream, and I lost it all right before I was about to have my third child. But do you want to know what I did? I tapped into that maternal well, and I made a way. I decided to create a business. I started my first business after getting laid off from that first job. Why? Because I needed a way to build a career, and I needed a way to be the type of mom that I wanted to be. And it wasn't easy, okay? I made a lot of mistakes. I had, like I said, those thoughts, those mommy guilt thoughts. I'm sacrificing time with my children for my career. I feel guilty. I'm not doing X, Y, and Z with my business because I want to be with my kids. I went through all of that. But once I've got out of my own way and just dug down deep, it's like a switch went off. And I was able to build my first successful business that I could live off of, okay? If you're out there and you're thinking, good for you, Margarita, I just got to have a side hustle right now and it's overwhelming. I don't know. Listen to me. If you can birth a baby, if you can go through that process, if you can go through that pain, through that exhaustion, through that fear, I mean, even when you're pregnant, it's scary. What sort of world am I bringing this child into? What am I going to do with it when it's here if it's your first, right? That's what it's like when you're building a business, ladies. It's the same thing. It's a newborn and you've got to feed it every couple hours. Same thing with a business. It hurts. Same thing with a business. You've got to be vulnerable. Same thing with a business. All of these things that you as a mother have already experienced in birthing your child and in waiting for your child and nursing a child, those are the same principles that you can apply to your career and to a business. For me, it was a business. For you, maybe it's not a business, it's a career. Whatever that career path is for you, if you can birth a baby, you can birth that career. I did it. This past year, we had an awful pandemic, and I'm going to share with you another story, another example. After 5 years of building a business, I decided to make some decisions because of the pandemic that didn't work out so well. Okay? And I also, like many people out there, had a COVID baby. So we're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm expecting my 5th child, and I'm not sure what's going to happen with my business. I'm not sure how things are going to pan out. I decided to have my baby at home in a pool, no anesthetics. But by this point in my life, and I'm 40, by the way, I'm proud of it. But by this point in my life, because of those experiences that I had, I wasn't afraid to birth that baby at home. I wasn't afraid of the pain. Actually, no, I was afraid of the pain. I wasn't afraid of facing the pain. That's the difference. Because I've done it so many times before in the birthing process of my children and in my entrepreneurial journey and in my career, where it's about having the courage to face what you know is coming and what you don't know is coming. And I had my baby at home, and I kid you not, it was one of the most beautiful experiences. It was painful. But because of everything that I've been through, and because I know about the maternal well that I'm trying to illustrate for you right now, I was able to tap into that. And honestly, I felt invincible. Did it hurt? Yes. Did I cry? A little. Did I squeeze my husband's hand a little too tight? Yeah, sure I did. But I did it. I faced it. My son, Joseph, was born this past year. And a few months after that, my business decisions that I made just blew up in my face. Did I cry? Maybe. Did I feel scared? Yes. But you want to know what I did? Do you want to know what I'm doing right now? I'm tapping into that maternal well to do what I need to do the impossible. Ladies, so many of you are going through something right now that you feel is impossible. You're exhausted. You're over it. You feel all alone. If you're a mom, you know this is just like when you're giving birth. No one can help you. The pain is all yours to face. The fear is all yours to face. But you have what it takes in you. I don't know of one woman out there who has begun birthing a baby and didn't finish. I don't know of one woman out there that's walking around with a baby hanging out of them. I don't know of one. Okay? So if you've birthed a baby and you're in the middle of trying to birth something in your career, whether that's a business like it was for me, or a career path that makes sense for you, know this. Just because it's painful, just because it's hard, just because it's scary, doesn't mean that you can't do it. And if you don't know what to do, tap into that maternal well. If you're anything like me, the fact that you have children is more of a reason to do these things. I want to teach my children by example to live in their purpose. That no matter what comes their way, no matter what mistakes they make, no matter what things that are unexpected just hit them, that it's okay, they can keep going. That it's okay, there's still hope. That it's okay, they still have it in them. And by the way, all of my children are men. All of my children are boys. And you know what? They have a paternal well. The moral of my story is that there is something inside you, inside all of us, that equips you for everything that you have to do to get to your next goal. And ladies, I don't mean this to be judgmental, but we've all been there where we're like, we can't do it. I've got kids, that means I can't have a career, or I've got a career, that means I can't have kids, or my kids get in the way of this. No, you need to get those thoughts out of your head and you need to innovate, if anything, for the sake of your children. That's what my mother taught me. My mother faced impossible odds through her mental disease journey. And she taught me that love well that you have, that maternal well, if you tap into it, you can do just about anything. And that's what I'm here to illustrate to you today. Part of the journey and part of what's involved with this process is knowing yourself. If you're in a place right now where you're feeling guilty, where you're feeling like a failure, face it. Just like when you're giving birth, face the fear, face the flaw, face all of that stuff head on and work through it. Right now, I have built a brand new business that I'm so excited about, where I've evolved from being a marketing agency and marketing consultant to being a business consultant. And I'm so excited because at first I thought, oh my gosh, the business that I built or the plan that I had for my business just kind of fell apart. But what I'm finding is that the death of that, or the transitioning away from that, is actually leading me to build and birth something amazing that I hadn't even thought of until I was in this situation. And I'm now, rather than helping businesses with just marketing, I'm helping them with things like their business, their sales models, their business model, their sales processes, and their company culture, and other things that through my journey as a marketer, I had picked up along the way. And I'm so excited to birth this brand new business that when I had the opportunity to speak at this conference, the She Is Me conference, I thought, aside from telling women my experiences, my story, and hopefully if at least one of you gets this, hopefully those of you sitting there can relate to my story and say, if she can do it, I can do it too. So aside from that, I thought to myself, what can I do to help women? What did I need during those moments of doubt and during those moments of growth and during those moments of I need to birth something new for myself, for my family, for my future? Well, one of the things that I needed was to understand myself. And aside from resources like Lisa Jimenez's, coaching that she does and things like that, I actually put something together. If you're an entrepreneur or a boss or a leader, I put something together called a boss quiz specifically for She Is Me conference participants. And what this quiz is going to help you do is it's going to help you through a series of questions that you'll answer. And I swear it's only a couple minutes, it's not that long. It's going to help you identify your boss style, or in other words, your leadership style. I feel like the word boss is a lot more fun, so I went with boss. But it's going to help you identify your leadership style so that you can understand what your style is and how to modify it for your career goals that you have, and even how to modify it for your leadership in the home. I find, I don't know about you, that there are parallels between the way we lead at home and the way we lead in our careers. So I pray that this quiz blesses you. I want to give it to you for free. And in addition, if you are a business owner, or even if you're not, but you just need some career advice and you could relate to some of the things that I've spoken about, I want you to feel comfortable and take advantage of also a free consultation so that we can have a discussion about your leadership style, your goals, and where you can go from here. As a business consultant, I love taking because my career has always been in marketing. Okay. I've been doing this for over 20 years. Like I said, I built this amazing career. I got to work for companies like NBC, Telemundo, Columbia Pictures. I actually was telling somebody today that I was a copywriter right out of college in Spanish for Spanglish, the movie. If you watch Netflix, if they're running it right now, so it's kind of bringing back memories. I got to work with Adam Sandler, and that was so fun. And Jim Brooks and a bunch of other amazing people that I don't want to get into a tangent, but that's my background career-wise, right? And over the last 5-6 years, I've helped business owners with all that corporate experience build marketing systems and build processes and run campaigns to grow their businesses. And I'm so excited that now, as a business consultant, I'm able to take all those experiences, the corporate marketing and the marketing for business, and combine that with my own entrepreneurial experience, and as well as other things that I've picked up along the way from all these business owners that I've been helping over the last 5 years to grow their companies from 6 to 7 figures, even, from startup too. And I'm able to offer this to you. I'm so excited about working with women specifically because I just have so much to show you, so much to tell you. And frankly, I just believe that women are built different. And that was one of the inspiration, or one of the points of inspiration behind my talk. If you can birth a baby, you can birth a career, because only women know instinctively how to tap into that well through the childbirth process. But ladies, you don't have to be a mom to tap into it. It lives inside all of us. And I want to encourage you to tap into that for your career and for your business. And I've done this. I've mirrored it in my personal life. Like I said, I'm the proud mom of 5 boys. My youngest was just born this past year. He's going to be 1 soon. If you follow me on social media at Margarita Eberline, you'll see my videos. He's actually my marketing spokesperson, or my business consulting spokesperson, baby Joey. And it's just such a beautiful thing to unite with women and to help women. So if you want to take advantage of my free offer, this quiz, I built it just for you, just for the She Is Me conference, and just for you, She Is Me conference participants. Okay. All you have to do is text the word She Is Me, okay, to the number 844 505 3021. It's the number on the screen. So once again, it's text the word "she is me" to 844 505 3021. And ladies, I hope you will take advantage of this. I really, really get excited about the thought of having you all take advantage of this resource that I made just for you, learning more about what your leadership style is, and learning how to work with it and how to embrace it. Okay, I think it's so important to do this both in the home and in your career. Before I go, I know my time is almost out. I want to ask you again, ladies, what would your life be like if you had a bottomless well of energy and of determination to build the career of your dreams and to do anything that you wanted in life? What would your life be like? I hope that by now, after you heard my story, my stories, plural, that you can see them as an example, not of how amazing and special I am or how talented I am, but of what's also living inside you, of what you have access to right here, right now. What would your life be like? Let me rephrase the question. What's your life going to be like now that you know this about yourself? What are you going to do? What kind of mother are you going to be? What kind of career are you going to build? What sort of life are you going to have? It's time. I'm here, and so is Lisa, and so are many other women that are out there working hard every single day to support each other. Thank you so much for your time. Once again, thank you, Lisa, for the opportunity. And thank you, the listener, for hearing what I have to say.